Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can you come back to me? Can you come back to me?
Hi guys, it's Karaya. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the family. Here on this very beautiful and abundant channel, I make very relatable spiritual content. You can just consider me your homegirl who helps you understand the spiritual and the practical and the practical and the spiritual, along with other creative content that I'll be bringing you. I'm so glad you clicked on this video today, because if you clicked on it, it's for you. So if you're a returning subscriber and watcher, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I hope you get everything you need each and every time you watch a video. And yeah, with that being said, before we proceed, please do not forget to like this video. Drop a comment below as we go along. Whenever you feel led to leave a comment, do so, and subscribe to the channel, become part of the family. I just really appreciate all of you for viewing. Now, with that being said, as you can tell by today's title, whatever it is, I don't know. As you can tell by today's title, we are talking about something that has been with me a lot of my life that I have recently shed, and that is people pleasing. So, to keep it all the way 100, I have been a people pleaser for like 90% of my life. And honestly, that's being lenient. It's probably been about 98, because I'm just now getting into that beautiful 2% where I'm no longer people pleasing. So, I know you're like, what does that mean? Maybe. So, people pleasing is essentially bending, folding all the time, doing whatever's best for everybody else with little regard to what's best for yourself. So if you fall in that category, you're probably a people pleaser. If you find yourself saying yes to things that you know you want to say no to, giving things that you don't really have, whether it be a physical resource, emotional, mental, spiritual resource, whatever it is, and you really don't have it, but you continue to give it because you love people so much, you're a people pleaser. So continue watching this video if you want to learn how I broke that cycle and continue on my path. So, my people pleasing began very early. I want to say as a child. I do believe personally that my people pleasing was caused by something very traumatic. I lost my father when I was very young, and most of the time I feel like it sounds ridiculous, but I feel like in some way it might have been my fault that my father passed. Even though it wasn't, you can't, things happen in life. You can't fault anybody for, death unless it's murder. You know what I'm saying? So basically, as a child, I wanted to do good, be perfect. I wanted to please everybody because I thought that would make sure I'm well liked and nothing bad would ever happen again. And honestly, being well liked was the only control I had over my life too. So being a people pleaser also stemmed from my need of control. So I just always wanted to have a certain image in people's minds. This started a very bad habit. So I was 6 when my father passed away. So imagine being in kindergarten and you start to make these awesome grades. And every time you move on in school life, you make awesome grades. You never give anybody trouble. And then you make a mistake. Or you do something that's an opportunity to learn. That's what I like to say about mistakes. I truly don't believe children can make mistakes. We call these things mistakes and stuff like that, but it's an opportunity to learn for them. They're so young, they're malleable, you can make them whatever you want them, so why not make them great? Instead of telling them like, oop, that was a mistake, or you did something bad, maybe transform that energy and say, hey, here's an opportunity to learn. This is the best way to do this, or this is a better way to approach this situation in the future, or what you said came from this place. Let's talk about it. Yeah, so as I started to get older and found myself in these situations that were framed as mistakes, it sucked because I'm like, oh crap, people know that I don't do everything right now, and now they're not gonna like me, and now bad things are gonna happen in my life, right? So as a child, people pleasing started very early. I don't know the psychology behind it. I am not a licensed anything. I always throw that disclaimer out there just to let you guys know I'm not a licensed anything. I'm just a beautiful soul on her journey, and I'm sharing my life experiences. I'm sure there's a lot of psychology behind it. I haven't done the research for this video. But yeah, I was just like, no, I have to be perfect. I have to please everybody. And the older I got, the worse it got. So, as you get older, you start to make these bonds, these friendships. So as I got to middle school, where I feel like children are molded and developed like the most, where they basically pick up a personality and all these characteristics and traits because they're moving into adolescence and the teenage years, right? I really started to people please. So at first, I will say like in the 6th grade, I was like keeping it real. I went to a school way outside of my neighborhood, and like, you know, it was like, you know what I'm trying to say. it was very few black kids for real, y'all. So I was just like, no, I'm keeping it real. I'm gonna be me. But as you start to make friend groups and form these cohesive bonds, you're like, yikes, this person's well liked. What they're doing must be the key to being well liked. Not knowing in my head, like, hey, being yourself is the best thing to be. So then eventually I moved schools to a private school in the 7th grade, and it got even worse, y'all, because I just wanted to be liked. That's it. So whatever anybody else was doing, I was doing. So that's kind of what people pleasing looks like sometimes, like just always trying to be like somebody else. You want to talk like them, you want to walk like them, you want to do what they're doing because they're well liked. Everybody likes this person, so what they're doing must be the formula. That's just how my mind worked at the time. And being well liked was my main priority because, like I said, I didn't want anything bad to happen. That was my mindset. I didn't want anything bad to happen, and I knew if people liked me, I'd be living a good life, right? So now we're getting into adulthood, you know, the teenage years, adulthood, and dating. And what do you think happens in dating? I'm letting boys treat me any kind of way because I'm like, I just want him to like me. That's what I want. I'm talking to boys, and then when I start to date boys, oh, if y'all have seen my story time, if you've not seen my story time, then I'm, you know what I'm talking about. I'm dating boys who are like, it's whatever about me, when it should be like, I care about you. Whatever. Honestly, when I got into adulthood, I didn't really have any solid, cohesive friendship bonds. I mean, I had a few. I don't want anybody to watch this and be like, what? But I didn't really have a solid, cohesive friendship group, any solid, cohesive friendship bonds, and I didn't have an identity. So I joined the military after I graduated high school, and it got worse because the military wants to condition you. You are a warrior, an athlete, a do-gooder. That's what they want you to be. They want you to be a people pleaser. So then I started to push back because I'm like, the person you're trying to make me is awful. From what I saw, my experience in the military. I'll talk about that in other videos. But yeah, I was just like, this isn't for me. I'm not going to step on other people and stuff like that because I'm a very kind-hearted person by nature, if you can't tell. But it was just a lot of things I wasn't down for. And I'm like, I just want to be myself. So fast forward to a period in my life where a lot of things just end abruptly. Basically, I ended a lot of stuff in my life. And I was just like, who am I now? Like, I almost didn't know who I was. You know, I had all these titles, all these things that I was doing. And it was cool, but that wasn't who I was. I wasn't identifying as that. I just didn't know. So basically, a whole lifetime of people pleasing stole my identity from me. It essentially made me realize that I kept going through life collecting these masks for people to like me. And now every mask got pulled from me, and I didn't know who was looking back at me in the mirror. I was just like, I don't have a mask on. I don't know what to do. So at this point, I could have grabbed another mask. I'm not gonna lie to you. I pretty much wanted to. I could have grabbed another mask and kept doing my thing, going through this life people pleasing, but I was at the point where I was like, okay, I'm mask free. I can shape who I am. And I wanted to know the best way to shape who I was. I wanted to know how to define me. I knew it wasn't by people's standards or expectations because a whole lifetime of people pleasing and I had nothing to show for it. People still didn't like me. People didn't care for me how I wanted them to care for me. And to be quite honest, I obviously didn't care for myself how I thought I cared for myself and held myself in such esteem. So I was like, yeah, it's time for me to figure out who I am, give myself the love I actually deserve and want, and, you know, give myself a soul tribe of people who are like-minded, who want to do the same things as I do. So I highly encourage you, if you're at a point in your life where you're like, who am I? Evaluate your life. Look around. Have you been people pleasing this entire time? Have you been being who everybody else wants you to be because it keeps you in the loop? It keeps you well liked. It keeps you afloat. It keeps people around you. So if you finally have the opportunity where all the masks have been pulled away from you, personally, thankfully at the time, I hated what was going on in my life, but I'm so thankful that, you know, God pulled every mask away from my life, for real, because I would probably still be wearing these masks, looking like a clown, like I graduated from the circus. But yeah, if you've been gifted the opportunity for all the masks to be pulled away, or, you know, quarantine has been an opportunity for a lot of people to put their own masks down, to look within and see who you are, shape your own identity, and look back and see who you were, the things you did like about that and the things you didn't like. So now at 22, I'm actually being myself. I'm actually coming into my own. I'm actually being Karaya for the first time. And that's even a big deal. People have called me Kay for most of my life, and now I'm more so starting to introduce myself as Karaya even. I actually prefer to be called Karaya. If you're watching this video, I do not mind if you call me Kay. I have let people call me Kay for my entire life. So I'm not just gonna switch the flip and act like I just hate Kay. I love that name, it's fine. But you know, when I introduce myself to new people and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, I'm Karaya. I don't say you can call me Kay if you like anymore after like I used to. Just saying, because that's just something that's a part of me now. I love my name. I love what it means. My name is actually Arabic. It has an Arabic influence and meaning. It basically means good heart and great virtue. Virtuous woman, period. So my dad named me. So now I'm starting to come into my own and realize the things that I love and I like about myself. I did a lot of healing. I have a video on how my healing process is going. You can go back and watch that. That was a major key of me putting down people pleasing. So something else that helped me with people pleasing was boundaries. I have set so many boundaries for myself, because with people pleasing, you don't have boundaries. And I came to realize that I was literally this boundless person. Like, people could do whatever, say whatever, feel however towards me, and I was just gonna go whatever way they want. Now I have boundaries, I have standards, and I have like a code basically that I live by. So, you know, when people aren't necessarily vibrating at a frequency of what's acceptable for me, then it's just not for me. I'm not gonna down it and say it's wrong, because I'm not saying my frequency and how I live my life is right. I don't really live my life like that. I just know what's for me and what's not for me. And that's something that people pleasing didn't allow for me. It was just what other people thought was right or wrong for them. I was gonna do it. But now that I'm living by what's best for me and coming out of that, being like a recovering people pleaser, I'm standing firm to my boundaries, because you gotta stand on them. When I was a people pleaser, it was easy for people to push me over and push my boundaries and like tell me different stuff, especially growing up, because I just want to fit in. I want to be well liked. I would do anything. And it's like, now that I'm here, I can look back on that. Sometimes I look back on it with a little shame and embarrassment, but I'm letting that go, because it's like, whatever, you were young, you didn't know any better. You didn't really, you know, you weren't being guided where you needed to go. And honestly, growing up, I realized I was around a lot of people pleasers. A lot of adults don't grow out of it, and it's no offense to anybody. So basically, setting boundaries has been beautiful for me. I have all these boundaries now. I have these standards now, and now I know, like, I can't kick it with this person no more. Or with these boundaries comes responsibility, basically. You know, I'm responsible to keep my energy protected and contained. Not necessarily contained, but just elevated. Continually vibrating as high as I can and being the best version of myself, showing up as the highest me every day. I can't do that when I'm hanging out with people that don't carry the same characteristics, values, and virtues that I have, that don't take the same things in life serious that I do. You know what I'm saying? You can't get far if your team don't got their running shoes on. You know, you want to run a mile and all your friends show up in sandals and flip-flops and pants. Where y'all going? Y'all ain't gonna run a mile in that. You the only one that got on your running shorts, your tank top, Nikes, got your AirPods. Everybody else look like they finna hit the corner store. And that's no offense to anybody, but once you start to reevaluate your life, you'll wake up, you'll look around, and you'll see what's aligning and what's not aligning. And it's okay if things don't align. It's okay if you start to lose friends because you realize that you're really only friends because you were people pleasing. And at that point, it's like, what value does that add to your life, and what value do you add to them? Doesn't mean they're a bad person. It just means that you can't be pleasing them anymore. You can't live by that anymore. So move along. If they want beef, let them have beef. That's their world. That's their perception. Let them create whatever they want, post whatever online, say whatever about you to whoever. God bless. leave it where it's at, move along in your life. Because now you're attracting your soul tribe. Honestly, I still have some of the same friends that I have had. However, going deep into like introspection and searching what's within me, yeah, I've looked around and realized like everybody that was around me previously probably is not meant to go where I'm going next. I'm not even gonna say probably. Some people just aren't. Some people aren't gonna make the cut. I followed a lot of people on Instagram, and it was no shade. It was like most of it was people I didn't know, to be honest, or like haven't talked to in mad years. But you got to keep it pushing, and also transforming the energy in a lot of relationships. Like, okay, this relationship can stay, but honestly, from this standpoint, I've been exerting myself too much, or I've been people pleasing in this area. So we can transform the energy of this relationship and put it here. That's all you have to do. At times it can be hard, because when you are a people pleaser, it's kind of hard to hear people say like, I don't like you, or you've changed, or to come at you with the smoke. But honestly, you can expect it once you start to set boundaries and establish who you are. You can expect arguments from people that you ain't bowing down to no more. And that's fine. You don't have to engage in it. Just because somebody wants to argue with you don't mean you got to argue back. So I haven't really gotten into a lot of arguments with people, because I'm the type of person to gracefully leave lives. I'm not making a big scene. I'm not sending you no long paragraph. I'm not sending you no thick email about why we're going apart, X, Y, and Z. You're gonna feel it. That's just that. It doesn't mean I'm scared of confrontation. It just means, what purpose is this discussion gonna serve in my life? So you don't have to be scared to approach people. If it's somebody in your life that you know you've had years with, I guess, and you feel that that respect is needed for them, and you want to go to them and be like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm not acting funny, but I'd like to, you know, rearrange the priorities of this friendship, this relationship, whatever it is, and I'm gonna be falling back, or I'm gonna be stepping back, and it's no disrespect, it's all love. Do that, it's fine. I'm not saying that you shouldn't tell people. I'm just saying the type of person I am is, you'll see it. You'll see it, how I treat you, how I act. It's not like I treat people badly when I realize we're not aligning currently. I just let it be. I'm a flow type of person. I'm not about to be sending you no paragraph. It's just not in my personality. Bless, but you see it. You know what I'm saying? You gonna feel me. But just know that if somebody can't take you prioritizing yourself over them and their needs, they just spoke very loud. Open your ears, continue to listen, continue to look how they act. You know what I'm saying? Personally, I just don't think you should be friends with people who in 2020 are still throwing subs and shade and stuff like that. I cannot imagine fixing my fingers to do that at this big age and in this year. I'm not gonna act like I never did it. I used to live my life off subs and shades, and that's when I was very immature. If there's a problem now that I'm not a people pleaser, I'm gonna directly confront the person. Instead of feeling like I have to be passive aggressive and walk on eggshells and not say what I need to say, I'm gonna go to this person. Them being able to perceive what I'm trying to say or being able to handle it is not my responsibility. I let that go. My only responsibility is effectively communicating with love and kindness what I have to say to this person, letting them know the objective and the outcome. Don't go to somebody just with a bunch of feelings and emotions and no end goal. That's another thing that people pleasing does to people. You get all emotional, and then when you finally do get the courage enough to go confront somebody, you don't even have a resolution, and you're still wrapped up in people pleasing. Let me be the first to tell you, it's been plenty of times where friends have done things that were not kind to me, or like boys I liked, or even family, whatever, have done things, and I didn't have the courage at the time to say like, hey, I don't like when you do this, because I was so deep in people pleasing and living in fear. So finally, when, you know, boundary after boundary after boundary had been crossed, and I finally worked up the nerve to say something, all I had was emotion, was I feel, and I wasn't able to say, hey, you've crossed this boundary so many times. It's disrespectful, and honestly, you owe me an apology. I don't expect one, but you owe me an apology. And honestly, I just don't foresee us continually being in each other's space like this. That's a resolution. I don't want to really see you anymore. I'd like you to apologize, but I'm not going to bank on it. And I don't like the disrespect. You see what I'm saying? I expressed myself, how I felt. I didn't like it. I like an apology, and I like us to, you know, be removed from each other. But when you're so caught up in people pleasing, you're going to be like, oh, I feel. And then they'll start to be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. You're a crybaby. This is how you feel. I'm not doing that to you. It's all in your head. That's how gaslighting starts. I should make a video on gaslighting. Anywho. And then you might stay trapped in the cycle, though, for real. and nothing ever gets done. So make sure that you're expressing yourself as well, you know, like with resolutions, not just I feel, it's I feel, I would like, it's the resolution. Authenticity is something that I want to talk about too, because when you're people pleasing, you're not authentic. You're not authentically being you. You're not leaving room for who you really are, for your visions, your plans, your feelings. So being authentic, sometimes it comes with a price tag, y'all, and that price tag is hefty. It's like when you walk in the store and they don't got tags on nothing, and you like, ah, no, I'm not buying this. If I gotta ask how much it costs too much, right? I said that all the time. Like, if I walk in the store and I gotta ask you about a price, you're doing too much. Yeah. So basically, authenticity sometimes it's a lot to handle for other people, and that's just because some people move throughout this lifetime expecting everybody in the world to bend the knee to them, and that's okay, because that's their perspective and that's how they shape their world. You do not have to be a piece that fits into that puzzle. Trust me, beloved. You know, I used to admire people like that who just shaped their worlds, and people just did everything for them and bent the knee for them and was all about them and did whatever they wanted, you know, right? And now I realize, like, that's not how it goes. When you meet people and you get the chance to connect with them, the privilege should be reciprocated, babe. Privilege doesn't go one way to meet and connect with people. If you're thinking like that, bless. That's your business. However, when you meet people, it's a privilege for you to meet them as much as it is a privilege for them to meet you. Connect with your energy, be in your energetic, you know, space, in your aura, your field. And some people just don't think that way. And when you pick up on that, it's your business whether you're going to be a piece of their puzzle or if you're going to say, I don't fit, love, and move right along, okay? It can get hard when you meet so many people like this and you're like, I just want friends. I just want friends. But as you shift and focus and move along by setting those boundaries, expressing yourself and being authentic, you'll start to attract people that are more like you, okay? I know people say you attract what you are, but, you know, I believe that heavily. But at the same time, sometimes a lot of people come to you and they're in need of something that you can offer them. Until you wake up to your authenticity, you won't be able to discern between those who you can connect with and be your friends and, you know, be connections or be a part of your soul tribe versus those who need something from you, those you're here to serve, those you're here to help, you know, because that's why I say judgment is, it's no bueno. We all have something that we've had to evolve and grow and heal, personality traits and characteristics. And I used to be a very judgmental person, but now that I'm growing in discernment and I see how unnecessary judgment is, it is helping me discern between authentic connections versus I'm here to serve in this area. I'm here to heal. I'm here to help. Being authentic and waking up to who I am on the inside. Because I know it can be hard when you're people pleasing and you need guidance. Like your life just feels like it's on a loop and you're constantly being what everybody else wants you to be. You want to break out of that box. It feels like a box, but really it's just a mindset. People pleasing is a mindset. Something in your life has told you that if people don't like you and respect you in a certain kind of way, you can't make it, and that's not the way to live. Or you're just so tuned into what everybody else is doing, seeing how they're living, seeing how they're respected, seeing how they're liked, and you're missing the point. It's going over your head that they're probably like that way for their authentic self, whether their, you know, characteristics shine or whatever it is that draws people to them. You have that same ability in you, and until you wake up and recognize it, you're gonna want the attention of certain people that you don't even need the attention of. When I look back and I think of the type of guys I liked and the type of friends I wanted to have and the type of life I wanted to live, I realized it was not me. It was not me at all. You know what I'm saying? I didn't need to connect with these people. I didn't need to be in this circle. I didn't need to be, you know, connecting with this guy. I felt I did because I felt that was the way life was supposed to be lived based off of my circumstances and the environment around me and the perception that was being painted for me. Now that I paint my own perception and I don't live according to what's going on around me, I live according to what's going on within me. Oh, life is completely different. The type of people I want to connect with and the type of man I like, and I don't know, like a lot of different things are going on for me, honey. Just who I am in general. And it doesn't mean that the old is bad. It just wasn't best for me. You know what I'm saying? People are great. They're doing what's best for them. And now that I don't live that way, I'm not aligning with that lifestyle anymore. It may seem like I'm judging or I'm being like, this is the wrong type of man, this is the wrong type of friends. But the truth of the matter is, we just didn't connect and align the way we were supposed to. It wasn't meant to be. So now that I'm living my life the way I need to be living it, period, stay tuned. Soul tribe, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? A relationship that fits what's best for me and who I am. Yeah, that kind of stuff is coming into my life because that's who I am now. That's what I'm drawing and attracting near to me from this heart of gratitude, baby. So to sum it all up, if you're a people pleaser, I hope that this video helped you, and I hope you realize that whatever it is that made you feel this way, you are not defined by it and you are not confined by it. You can break this mindset and this mentality. You are stronger than the mind because you are not just your mind, my loves. So know that if you feel the need to please people and do whatever everybody has to say, it's time for you to step back and take your mask off, look in the mirror and figure out who that person in the mirror is staring back at you. Because you've been looking at your mask for way too long. And it's clownish. It's real clownish. Okay? And if you're a recovering people pleaser like myself, stay on your course. Stay on track. You don't got to revert back to anything. You are doing what's best for you. Everything's going to align for you. Everything's working out for you. And I love you so much. With that being said, I want to thank you all so much for tuning into this video, giving me your time and attention. I'm sending you love, light, peace, and abundance of every single kind.
Yeah. 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 Can you come back?